Hello! Let's play with Play-Doh today. I think it would be really fun if we made some flowers out of Play-Doh. So let's get started. I'm so excited to play with this Play-Doh, you guys, because I have all these really fun colors. We have pink, orange, green, light blue, dark blue, and purple. We also have this little machine right here called the Play-Doh Fun Factory, which will help us make a bunch of really fun shapes. So the first thing I want to do is I really want to make a flower, and I think it's going to be so fun. And I'm going to make the stem of my flower first. And I want to use my Play-Doh Fun Factory to help me make the stem of my flower. So let's get some green out. So I'm going to take a little chunk of my green Play-Doh. I'm going to open up the Fun Factory, and I'm going to put the Play-Doh right into this little compartment here. We're just going to put the Play-Doh in, and before we close it, I'm actually going to put a little slider on the front of my Play-Doh Fun Factory so that it makes a cool shape. When I close it, it's making little tubes of Play-Doh. It's like little spaghetti noodles. Now my flower stems need leaves. And conveniently, I have this attachment for my Play-Doh Fun Factory with a little leaf shape on it. And now when I close it, a leaf shape should come out. It's making one really long, big leaf shape. And I know it doesn't look like a leaf right now, but it will in a moment after we cut it with our Play-Doh knife. So now we have this weird thing. So what do we do with this? Well, let me just set it down right here, and let me get my Play-Doh knife, and I'm going to make little cuts. I just cut a little leaf, and I'm going to cut a few more leaves. Put them all in a pile, and I'm going to put them right on my flower stems, like that. So now my flower stems have leaves on them. I'm just squishing them a little bit so that they stay connected. Now my flower stems need flowers on them. All right, there's the middle of one flower. Here's the middle of my second flower. Here's the middle of my third flower. Here's the middle of my fourth flower. And here's the middle of my fifth flower. Now let's make some flower petals. Now I'm gonna put some purple Play-Doh in my Fun Factory. And now when I close it, let's see what happens. It's making 4 long skinny strips of purple Play-Doh. And I can use these as my flower petals. But these would be really long flower petals, so I'm gonna cut them up a little bit and make them shorter. I'm gonna cut them into about 4 pieces each. And now we have a pile of purple flower petals. So I'm gonna put all my flower petals on some of the flowers. This flower is going to have lots of flower petals. Maybe I'll make this one look like an orange rose. I have a bunch of little pieces of flower petals, and I'm going to try to arrange them in a way on my flower to make it look like rose petals. And to do that, I'm gonna kind of try to curve them a little bit around the middle of my flower, like this. Squish it down a little bit just so it connects. And I'm going to keep putting on my flower petals in kind of a curved motion and layering them on top of each other like rose petals. See how it's kind of looking a little bit like a rose right now? There's a little bit of purple stuck to this orange Play-Doh, but I think it makes the flower look really pretty. And for the middle of my rose, I'm going to kind of swirl this up a little bit like this and stick it right in the middle. And then I'm going to take the rest of my flower petals and just kind of make them fit in some of the more open spaces of my flower. And put a couple on the outside as well, like this. So now I have an orange rose. I think we should try a blue flower. So I'm going to take my brand new light blue Play-Doh out of the package, and since it's never been used before, I do have to warm it up a little bit. We warm it up by squishing it around and squeezing it all up for about a minute or 2, just until it's a little bit softer and easier to work with. So let's take a little bit of our blue Play-Doh and put it in our Fun Factory. And let's make some more flower petals. Let's lay out these 4 strips. And I think we should fold them in half kind of to make a new shape of a flower petal that we haven't used before. Fold them in half a couple times like this. So it doesn't have to be a perfect shape, but it's kind of unique and it looks really pretty. So let's take another one. Let's fold it in half once and fold it in half another time. And then put it on our flower. let's take our fourth strip, fold it in half once, fold it in half another time, and put it on our flower. And then with our last strip, let's do the same thing. Fold it in half once, fold it in half twice, and put it on our flower. And now we have a blue flower with 4 big flower petals. Now I think it would be really fun to make a flower that has blue and purple mixed together. Let's make another rose. And I'm going to take some purple in my blue and I'm gonna squish it up. I'm not gonna mix it together very good. I'm just gonna make them squished together, but I'm not gonna mix them up. Maybe I'll fold it in half once and squish it back together so that they're connected, but they're not mixed. And now I'm going to put this in my Play-Doh Fun Factory. Let's make another rose. So I'm going to cut these up so some of them are bigger and some of them are smaller. Now let's lay them all around the middle to make a rose. And again, we're just going to curve them around the middle and keep adding curved pieces until it looks like a flower. And now we have a blue and purple rose. So now I'm going to take my pink Play-Doh and I'm going to warm it up since I haven't used it in a while. And then I will put some in my Fun Factory. And then let's push it and see what comes out. That's so pretty. I'm going to use my Play-Doh knife and cut them into smaller pieces for my flower petals. And just like I did with my purple flower, I am going to layer on the flower petals until it looks like a flower. All my flowers are all done. Thank you so much for learning with me and creating with me. See you next time.